What's up? It's Tom recording this on Monday morning, but we're talking about Sunday's game action. And the Minnesota Twins swept the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, or whatever they're calling themselves these days, by winning 5-0 on Sunday. Joe Ryan was excellent. We'll take a look at his numbers in just a sec. Only the Wind Surge failed to take a victory. And in fact, the Kernels and Muscles blow out their opponents on Sunday. Joe Ryan, again, the headline guy. It's pretty easy. It makes it look easy when your starter goes 7 shutout innings to win a ball game. But Joe goes 7 shutout, 4 hits, only 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, 98 pitches. 57 four-seam fastballs among those 98 pitches, and got 18 whiffs on that pitch. Just pumping fastballs in there, getting tons of swinging strikes. This was his second time in 6 starts on the year. He's gotten 7 shutout innings. Justin Topa finished it off with 2 no-hit innings. Pitching staff has allowed 3 runs or fewer in half of the Twins' games so far, 14 of 28. That's been important because they're only 1-13 when allowing 4 or more runs, which is alarming. But they've had a couple rough patches, the pitching staff, of course. That's just how it's going to work. But this unit has been tremendous for the most part over the early going in the season here, and the lineup really needs to pick them up. And if Carlos Correa can keep this up, that's probably going to happen on a more consistent basis. Correa was 3 for 4 on Sunday with a double. He was 6 for 11 in this series, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that's a sign of good things to come. That his swing is right, that his wrist is right, whatever's been slowing him down, hopefully is in the past. There you see a couple other names listed there, but I want to call out that the Twins were 13 for 36 with runners in scoring position this series. That's a .361 batting average, and their ranks with runners in scoring position on the season. Some of you won't believe this, but they are ranked 12th in batting average, 15th in on-base percentage, and 16th in slugging percentage with runners in scoring position on the season. Hitting is a failure. It's all about failure, and the Twins are basically middle of the road with runners in scoring position. And, I think some people would have predicted them to be around the bottom. It's tough. It's tough out there, and they're not going to deliver every time out, but hopefully this is a momentum-building weekend for them, and really homestand. They won 5 of 6 at the homestand. They're going to go to play Cleveland starting today in a 4-game series. That's going to be big. But I want to take a look at some Cedar Rapids Kernels highlights here from Sunday. Jose Olivares is a name to know for sure. He is off to a great start. We'll look at some of his specific numbers in just a moment here, but just kind of want to show you some highlights. Not super sure why he's not allowed to throw more than 3 innings yesterday, but it is what it is. He shined in those 3 innings, and he was feeling it. You see there. Danny De Andrade hit his first home run of the year for the Kernels. This one into the streets of Cedar Rapids, out of the stadium. Danny De Andrade, there's another look at that swing. And Kaelen Culpepper also hit his first homer of the year. A 3-run towering bomb that gets out of the stadium. Kaelen Culpepper, the Twins' first-round pick from last year, has been dealing with some injuries a bit. He missed a bit of time, but back out there playing and hitting his first home run of the year. Again, that was Kaelen Culpepper. Here's a look at the minor league starting pitchers from Sunday. Zebby Matthews, very strangely, doesn't throw a ton of strikes, walks 4 guys, doesn't get out of the 5th inning. He has a 1.93 ERA and 1.07 whip this year, so he's pitching well, but he has not recorded an out in the 6th inning yet. So, that's a box he's got to check before he's, demanding for a call-up or anything. Jose Olivares, again, that was the guy we took a look at the highlights from. 1 hit over 3 shutout innings with 3 strikeouts. Only threw 42 pitches. This is a guy who's 22 years old, so it's not like this is a teenager who they're protecting. 22 years old, not the biggest guy, I guess, and he hasn't logged the most innings in his past, but would really like to see him be allowed to throw more than 3 innings at some point here. He's yet to allow a run and has only allowed 3 singles over 10 2/3 innings this year. He has 14 strikeouts. He's off to a tremendous start. I just want to go on a real quick rant about the Saints. Ryan Fitzgerald is the guy who's playing really well. 2 for 4 with a double yesterday. These guys have been primarily playing shortstop. You see Carson McCusker down there was also 2 for 4 with a double. Anthony Prado was 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 steals. I would love to see one of these guys get a chance with the Twins. Do I think they're going to be, very impressive or bring all that more to the table than a Jonah Bride or a Cody Clemens? Probably not. But it just it sucks that there's all these opportunities coming on the Twins, and they're going and buying these, last man on the roster from these other teams like Jonah Bride and Cody Clemens. Those guys have their own stories, and it's good for them that they're sticking in the big leagues themselves. But like Ryan Fitzgerald's a former indie ball signing by the Red Sox who's 30 years old, who's seems like a good dude. He's played a ton of minor league ball. He's never played in the majors. It'd be awesome to see him get a shot. Carson McCusker, another guy signed out of indie ball who's just mashing. He'd probably strike out in like 40% of his plate appearances in the majors. It could be ugly if you called up Carson McCusker, but he also could just mash lefties for you and be a really fun, interesting guy. Anthony Prado, if you are a longtime watcher of the channel, you know my love for Anthony Prado. Just a guy who's going to go out and do everything he can to help you win a ball game. And he has his flaws as well, but at the same time, like this is a guy who's had some really good stretches in AAA. There's other guys too. There's many more. Those were the guys that just played well yesterday. Anyway. So those were some of the numbers. Jose Salas, I should call out, he's on a rehab assignment with the Mighty Missiles now. Hit a grand slam, drove in 6. So he should be rejoining Cedar Rapids before too long. Kyle DeBarge stole his 11th base of the season. He's been a dynamic player for them so far. Once again, Wind Surge was the only team to lose. Thanks so much for checking this one out. Again, it's Monday, so no minor league action. Only the Twins are playing. Won't have a recap tonight. But huge series. The Twins taking care of business at home. That's great. If they go and play horribly over the next week, obviously it doesn't mean anything that you beat up on the White Sox and the Angels at home. So, but I think this, for this team's sort of psyche, they can look at this past week and say, all right, here we go. It's go time. Thanks for checking this one out. We'll talk again soon.